Well, this is exciting.
We appear to be live, mate.
We appear to be live. My name is Martin Renaud from Live Video Events and the Freedom Potential Center. And I am here with Rob Flux from Property Developer Network. This is an experimentation. This is our first time that we go live on LinkedIn. We just, as professional broadcasters and live streamers, we just received the ability to broadcast and to live stream on LinkedIn. So it's a big deal, and I'm here on site with my client.
Absolutely.
Who's running a hybrid event.
Yeah, so we're running I guess a physical event and also a live streamed event out to the big wide world. We've been running events, so I'd say a little bit about our business. We've been running physical events for nearly 9 years in 3 states. So we run events in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne, and for the last 9 years been running those, and then COVID hit, and all of a sudden our client base could no longer physically get access to us. So we had to pivot like most businesses, and in pivoting it we had to go live streaming, and for a while there we were live streaming all by ourselves. And now we're back to physical. Not every week. Sometimes the borders are shut, but we're doing both now. We're doing the hybrid approaches and come out both ways.
Yeah. So let's like deconstruct that for a second. So live video events we've been providing live multi-camera, multi-angle switching professional services for events for just over 3 years now, and providing live stream services. And a lot of our clients, they wanted to have their videos recorded, but they were a little bit tentative about going live or going virtual. So Rob has been a client for
I'm going to say close to the 3 years, mate.
Close to 3 years already.
Yep.
And so I think it's the fifth or sixth event that we film. Typically, these are workshops that are held in a hotel. Here we are at the Colmslie Hotel in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. And how many people do we have today?
So physically in the room, we've got about 60 people, and I think we've got about 40 odd online.
Well,
so
see, it adds to the capacity, almost like 2/3 of the capacity. So 100 people in a room, how to fit 100 people in a room of 60, basically.
Absolutely.
That's what we do.
And our event goes for 3 days, and so the ability for people to travel interstate to our event, I guess with border closures opening and closing almost on a daily basis, makes it very difficult for people to plan. So the ability for us to do these hybrid events is, I guess, critical for us to be able to succeed.
Yep. So that's what we specialize in, and we're very privileged to work with visionaries such as Rob.
Visionary, thank you.
And yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, what you offer here in the space of property development training is really quite different from a lot of offers in the space. And I'd like to touch on onto this with you before we talk a little bit more about like the technical setup and all the preparation and what's behind running a hybrid event. So tell me, Rob, tell me a bit more about your business and what's your differentiation to the other property workshops out there.
Well, the business is Property Developer Network.
Yeah.
The difference came from the fact that when I was going through my journey and trying to learn property development, I went and did the other programs that were sitting out there, and they very much hype you up and activate you for wanting to do stuff.
Yeah,
but when it actually comes to the detail of the how-to, and I'm a details kind of guy, there was not much that sat behind that. And so I basically got 5 mates around my kitchen table trying to help me to get my projects succeeding and help them to get theirs. And there's each mate invited a mate, and they invited another mate. We're now the largest networking group of its kind in Australia.
Yeah, so hence the network part. So how many people is in the network right now?
We're approaching 11,500 people at the moment.
Okay. And how many of those have been through the program as such?
Not that many. So we've got people of all walks of the journey. So sometimes they're still trying to go, is property development for me? So we have an offering for that, and then we have, I guess, an offering for people who are deep into the process and very much wanting to. So there's no one is excluded from that process. It's really I guess the right product for the right person at the right time.
Okay, so there's a lot of people. So basically, you accept people in the network that don't necessarily go through the program. However, you offer this specialized program for people that want to learn and become developers themselves.
Yeah, correct. So we run a very low entry price ticket for somebody to come to a Meetup event. We run those Meetup events in 3 states, so Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and intentions to go bigger.
These are live streamed too?
These are live streamed too, right? So we run these every month, so we're running 3 of those every month, and that then feeds into, I guess, giving people education and information with industry experts and people sharing knowledge about their own deals, and then we try to recreate that kitchen table experience to try and help each other keep progressing forward at a low ticket price.
Great. That's really interesting. So basically, and then your programs are a year-long program, yes?
Yeah, correct.
So a year-long program. There's a number of events. There's a number of there's this online training, all that material. Because I'm aware that you have quite developed the back-end video on demand online training for your clients. So all this material that is recorded and live streamed is then repurposed for your your clients.
We've got terabytes of video that we've got uploaded that we put into a learning management system. So we break those down into small little bite-sized chunks, and people can track their progress as they go. And we can see where they're up to, and they can see where they're up to, which is always handy.
Exactly. Well, you're fairly autonomous as a client because Rob is quite sophisticated in his approach to run events. And by the way, those events are held in many cities, right? In
Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne at the moment. And delusions of grandeur have gone Australia-wide.
So like once a month, there is.
Absolutely.
So how many events per year would you say you run?
I'm going to say collectively, by the time we do our these kind of boot camp events and that sort of thing, we're running close to 50 events a year.
It's fairly substantial, but basically, as I understand, this is how you nurture your the clients for your main program, and then breaking down those this content, it allows you to create this online training and promotional videos. And this is, so as I was saying, Rob is quite a sophisticated client, so he's got a lot done in house, but we still work together, and he still hire our companies to consult and to bringing just like the next level of production, and sometimes the next level of understanding of where the industry is going at. So it's a great collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. And you and I have lots of tech talks about this gadget that does this, and that's always the fun part.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're working on different concepts, for the future. But as you were saying earlier, so once you nurture your clients, with a free event, and then you can present them with the offer of your online training, and then produce the content live, have live participants, so it can expand your capacity to teach, the capacity of participants, to teach the one training, then repurpose this content, put it behind, and on an online learning platform, then chop it down to social media, in social media clips to promote this event. So basically it becomes an ecosystem, and this is what we consult on, what we help on, and how we basically interact together. So tell me now, you mentioned, so last year the pandemic happened, all those venues closed down, And obviously people were much less keen to gather in groups. So what happened?
So we had to make a really fast decision to pivot our business.
Yep.
I'm quite fortunate in that I have a very technical background, so
Yep.
we were able to understand what the technology was capable of,
Mm-hmm.
and we went straight to, I guess, the live streaming version of our platform.
Okay.
Um,
What were you using? Which tool were you using at the
So
time?
we were using Zoom,
Yep.
and I guess at the moment still are, but we've
Yep.
got, I guess, other plans to be maybe taking that out to other technologies.
Yes.
But there's, I guess, in doing that, I guess there's and the reason why now that we're back physical, we've done that, even though we can live stream, there's a tactile experience between face to face,
Mm-hmm.
but
Of
there's
course.
a practical experience in the live streaming. So you really want both for your clients to say, well, I can't physically make it in. The live streaming is a good approach,
Mm.
but if I can make it in, it's a very different experience when you're physically in room.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've noticed that also with our clients, with most of our clients that run workshops, seminars, conferences, and whatnot. Now that, let me remember the numbers. It's something crazy, like there was 10 million users of Zoom in December 2019. By March, it ramped up to 100 million, and April 300 million. So it's just like completely flooded the market. And what's interesting in this is that almost everyone has attended multiple Zoom meetings and are now comfortable, have their own setup at home with lights, with microphones, and it's much easier to gather crowds on the live stream or on Zoom, for example, than before. People are really keen to actually like be sitting in their home and even like attending 3 days, 5 days, 7 days workshops. We've run some of the first hybrid events on the Gold Coast in Australia. Was it back in August when everything was still closed down, and we had 25 people in the room with a state exemption, and we had over 30 people on the Zoom. So what happened then is that my client was able to double her crowd and obviously our income and our revenue with running this type of event. So it's now a norm. So what I hear from you, Rob, is that basically now that the events are back live, people they actually demanding, wanting to be in the class, but from the comfort of their own home or their office.
Well, what we've found from a flexibility perspective, we teach property development, and the legislation is different in every state.
Yeah, correct.
So when we have people that physically attend a Brisbane event,
Mm-hmm.
they can live stream a Sydney or live stream a Melbourne event
Yep.
on a different weekend. So
Yep.
they can learn different techniques and issues and challenges in different locations.
Mm-hmm.
And so we find that sometimes we've got double the audience, and sometimes we've got the same audience who are just turning up to 3 or 4 more events than they could have physically before.
Right, of
Yep.
course, which is
Yep.
also an advantage
Yeah.
for them as well.
Absolutely.
They get to double up on their learning. There's another aspect to this because of how hybrid events are actually very much can very much just save your event or your business. Like we had an event last week.
I'm mindful we're going live in 5 minutes for our
that's
real
fine.
show, mate.
We're just about to. Okay, I'm going to wrap up with this. We had an event last week, and this could happen at any point. So it was planned as a hybrid event, and then suddenly we had a lockdown for a number of days, and we were able to still run the event even if people couldn't get through the venue, because we had already put in place the live stream option, and that can really, we in this uncertain time, we have no idea when this can
Yeah,
happen.
correct. It gives you certainty
Yep.
in being able to commit to, we are going to deliver the content we promised.
Yes.
Yep.
And okay, great. Well, thank you, Rob Flux from Property Development the Developer Network. Check out their well, lead us to your socials and to your your website.
If you just search for Property Developer Network,
Yep.
we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, and we're just out in the big wide world. If you search on that, you will find us, Property Developer Network.
All right, thanks, Rob.
All good.
And see you later.